my name is Arcane Static, and you are joining me again for another episode of Cooking for People as Lazy as Me. Today we're gonna make tofu burgers. They're super easy, and tofu is cheap, and it's such a good source of protein, and they're easy, and they're easy to take places. We're gonna have them normal, and then we're also gonna have them with cheese inside. Can't make tofu burgers without tofu. We've got some momen tofu here. I guess it's firm tofu, not the silky kind, because the firm kind is better for holding together once you're making it. I got some mushrooms, these little enoki mushrooms, but any mushrooms will do. If you don't like mushrooms, don't put them in. That's easy. We've got an onion, we've got an egg, we've got some breadcrumbs, which you can't see in that picture there. Just normal, breadcrumbs. And then a choice of spices. Today I'm using black pepper, oregano, parsley, red pepper, and paprika. Red pepper, I guess, is like a cayenne sort of mix thing going on. But yeah, so this is what we're gonna need. Let's start preparing it, shall we? Okay, so preparing the tofu bit itself is weird, because normally you'd, take it out, and then, put it in the fridge with plates on top of it, and let it squeeze out all the water and all that kind of junk, but we don't have time for that, and I'm far too lazy for that kind of shit. So instead, you take your block of tofu, and you wrap it in a paper towel, just like that, put it on a plate, and microwave it for a minute or so. I guess microwaving it helps to vaporize some of the water that's in it. Also, it makes the tofu a little bit warmer when you are finished with it, which will be nice for this thing, because cold tofu is generally really cold. So you've got your block of now microwave drained tofu. So let's just go ahead and we'll take this and we'll drop it in a bowl. Now, let's look at some ingredients here. These mushrooms are the easiest to cut up in things because they are, by, nature of how small they are, you don't have to dice them or anything, but if you're using a different kind of mushroom, dice them up into tiny pieces. Having washed them up, we're just gonna kind of cut them into little bits, drop them right in with the tofu. You don't want, a terrible ton of them, because too much of them will cause the tofu to not, bind together, and then it doesn't make a burger, now does it? Next up, we'll do the onion. We're gonna dice up this onion in pretty small pieces, so we'll use the dicing method. So you're cutting down to, here-ish in the onion, so that you don't cut all the way through, because then it still stays all together down at the bottom bit here, which is super useful for when you're dicing. So now that we're ready for this, we're just going to take it and just kind of doodly-doodly-doo, and you'll see it gets this kind of really nice, diced consistency. Just like that. We only want, half of this, but I'm going to grate the whole thing and put the, other half of it into a bag, so that we can use it for another recipe or whatever. Oh, there's the eyes. It's starting. Oh, delicious. Oh, the eyes are starting. Ugh, onion eyes are the worst. So now we've got our onions and mushrooms in with the tofu. Let's take the egg and pop it in there as well. Just like that. And then I will throw in a dash of red pepper. Not too much, because red pepper is a little bit spicy, and I don't much care for it being too spicy. Some paprika. Paprikas you can put in more, because it's not that, really strong. Parsley, I like a little bit of parsley in it, maybe a little bit more. Give us a little bit of color. Oregano's good for, giving it a kind of extra, twang flavor, which is cool. And black pepper, because I love black pepper, and you can't go wrong with it. After that, we're going to take some breadcrumbs and just kind of, dust it in there so that it gets, some breadcrumbs. And from here, you're just going to kind of squish the whole thing up and mix it. So here we go. Oh god, it's so gross. It feels so gross. Now you want to really get the egg mixed in there because the egg is the binding agent for this recipe. If you don't have a binding agent, then your burger is going to fall apart really easily. You might consider putting in like maybe more egg, or like if you're using egg whites from a carton or something like that, you can put in like a little bit more of it than 1 egg's worth of egg white or some such. But 1 egg should do finely. Heat it up to like medium heat-ish or so. I'm gonna put a dab of oil on it as well. You don't need a lot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this thing and you're gonna form it into this ball shape. Just like this. And then from here, you'll go ahead and drop it right into the pan. Get a couple more of those. So now I like to take my cover and put it up on top and let this cook for a little while. If you find that your mixture is too wet, you can add more breadcrumbs to it. It'll help to solidify it and soak up a little bit more of the moisture. You'll get a feeling for when these are ready because you can start to kind of smell it, and you'll also be able to tell because the color will start to change like on the bottom bits of it if you're looking at it. Let's see what we can do here. So just get right up under the burger. And real gentle, like, just kind of like that. This is the kind of, like, color and consistency that you're gonna look for when you flip it over to get that side, the other side cooking. And, like, when you first put them in, they're gonna be crumbly and shit like that, because the egg, the binding agent, has not yet, like, stuck itself together through the cooking. But that's what the egg is for. The longer that it cooks, the more solidified it will get because of the fact that it's being bound together by the egg. May as well do your dishes while you're waiting, too. We're gonna go ahead and throw these onto a plate now. Et voila. We'll get to the cheese bit in the next round. Alright, so I've brushed out all the debris from the previous burgers. I'm going to throw a little bit more oil in here so that it gets heated up while we're waiting. There we go. So let's talk about these cheese business, right? You're going to take one of your pieces of cheese, open it right up, and this is going to be the center of your burger, right? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take half a handful-ish of the tofu and, like, smash it on top of the cheese, like this. So that you've got, like, this layer of tofu up on top of it like that, right? And flip it over and do the same thing. So that you have, like, a cheese sandwich with tofu instead of bread, right? Now, once you've got tofu on both sides, you can start flipping it back and forth like you would to form the other kind. Get it all nice and like, spread and adhered to it. Add little more bits as necessary to make sure that there's enough mass on both sides that nothing, like, burns up or whatever. And now you've got a cheesy inside burger. Of course, the cheese is gonna melt around the corners where it's, like, outside of the tofu. If you really wanted to, you could put the like, tofu cheese, fold the corners in tofu again, but I'm too lazy for that shit. So, we've got this burger already nice like that. Let's just kind of move this oil around a little bit and drop this sucker right in. So you'll notice when you start to cook around it where the cheese is, that they're gonna get this, like, delicious looking crusty little brown edge where the cheese is frying itself, which is great. That's fine. What you don't want is if it starts to stick to the pan, you're gonna want to, like, pull that little bit off and throw it somewhere or just eat it or whatever, because sticking to the pan is like your worst enemy of this one. See, like right there, this has started to stick here. We're just gonna kind of shuffle that somewhere else. There we go. Now, by nature of this thing being a thicker burger, it's gonna be well, it's gonna take longer to cook, and it'll also be more finicky to flip. So when I'm flipping this one, I'm gonna maybe want to use like 2 spatulas if I've got them, or be really super finesse. Let's see if my finesse will do it. And the answer is, there we go! Score 1 for finesse points. While this sucker is cooking, you can use this time to contemplate existence and the human condition, or you can drink some soda. Either one is fine. And shake this dude right onto the plate. Voila! Here's our first round. Here's our second round. Here's our third round with the cheese. Oh man, this one, like, you can just, like, feeling it, you can tell that, like, all the cheese is super melty and delicious looking on the inside, so I'm excited for this one. I've already eaten one of the round 1 patties, because it was delicious. You can eat, like, a hamburger on a bun kind of thing, you can put condiments on it, that sort of stuff. The cheese patty, oh man, look at it. It's, like, you can see on the inside how there's, like, the melted cheese going on. I'm really excited. I'm just gonna... That was fantastic. If you want to add a little bit more flavor to your tofu burgers, then you can add things like onion salt or garlic. There's, what's that magic salt? It's got a picture of a chef with the chef hat on the bottle. I don't remember what the brand was, but it's really good. There's like poultry seasoning or meat seasoning, which doesn't actually have meat in it and is appropriate if you're trying to use this as a meat substitute. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming and joining me this time around. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. You can also follow my socials. That's the Facebook and Twitter in the description box. And you can hop onto my Patreon page, where if you are a patron, you will get these videos a day early when I can pull it off getting a day early. And I'm not being lazy like today and recording it at like 10 o'clock at night on Wednesday when I'm supposed to post it on Thursday here so that you guys get it on a Wednesday. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.